internet. I am Davila LeBlanc, writer, and stay tuned at the end of this video. I'll be setting up a little contest for a free giveaway. And without further ado, I'm going to carry on with my video. This video is called The Experiment in Diversity. So, about a year ago, I was hard at work on the first draft of my novel, Future, in which humanity had evolved into several different species and lived side by side with machines in a tentative peace. I was challenged to embark on completing a book by my fellow friend and writer, Jocelyn Baxter. I'm giving her a shout out. Thank you very much for that. Now, at the time when I was creating the cast and crew of the story, I had a predominantly male team. And it was my wonderful, loving partner, Jesse Matheson, who brought to my attention the Bechdel test. Now, for the record, I'm not pro any kind of test or system that dictates to creatives what they must do or must include in their works. Often I find that must-do lists become can't-do lists. And it's not the purpose of this video to argue for or against it. There are far better educated opinions than mine on this matter, and as a white heterosexual male, I also feel that I'm not part of the people who are misrepresented or underrepresented in film, television, or literature. That being said, I do believe that the test does bring to light something that needs to be addressed, and that is basically the misrepresentation of women in literature and fiction. Now, rather than suffer a standard knee-jerk reaction of, no one can control the creative process, I chose to see how I could correct the problem in my own works and future works. So, as I was conceiving the cast and crew of my novel, I decided I would perform an experiment. I would change the genders of many of my characters from male to female and vice versa, and see what would happen. If gender really didn't matter, then the story, characters, and relationships, everything would remain more or less unchanged, correct? Well, I was, thankfully, very wrong. One of the main characters in my novel was a man named Luc Jaffahan. He was a hardened commando who had been forced into retirement when an accident had cost him his eye and left him horribly scarred. He had lost his son during a mission and was now fiercely protective of a younger male character, Captain Morwen Sultane, treating him like the son he no longer had. Now, for some reason, I found this backstory to be far too typical. And since I was fresh off of a discussion on gender portrayals in literature and television, I chose to switch up Jaffahan's gender. Luc Jaffahan was replaced with Ileana Jaffahan. She was still a hardened commando, still scarred, and instead of a son, she had lost a daughter. The change originally, in my then opinion, had merely been a superficial one. However, as I changed Jaffahan from a him to a her, a myriad of plot threads were almost instantly transformed. Instead of exploring a father-son dynamic between Jaffahan and Morwen, for example, the relationship became more of a mother-son analog. Now, true, this isn't anything major, and certainly something that has been done before, but I found myself far more intrigued by the relationship I was crafting between the two. This also changed the way Jaffahan interacted with the rest of the crew. Her origins, her reactions, were suddenly transformed, so much so that I could hardly recognize her as the same character I had originally created. There was a rich pool of potential backstory that I would borrow from, which isn't to say that the original version of this character wasn't any good. I simply found that it was more interesting and even, dare I say, challenging to write Jaffahan as a her. And now as I'm writing this article, or making this video, I can hardly believe that I had originally considered having her be a man in the first place. And this is a good example of what was originally a cosmetic change resulting in something far grander being created. This result was so interesting to me that I started to apply the process to almost all of my new projects, and old ones as well. As people, we don't define ourselves purely on our sexual appetites, the color of our skin, or which god we pray to. No, these are just many pieces of ourselves that when put together form the whole individual. The same logic applies to the characters who populate the countless works of fiction and non-fiction we choose to escape to. So instead of fighting change, why not go along and embrace the change that comes with it? Our creations will not suffer if we choose to broaden the character color palette we choose to use in them. No, they will only be enriched and made all the more better for it. Diversity. It's the spice of life, and moving forward, it will become the spice of good storytelling as well. Now, at the beginning of my video, I said I was going to be doing a giveaway for a free download of my book, Dark Transmissions, available from HarperCollins and on Amazon. Now, the rules for this contest are very simple. Step 1. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Step 2. Go to my website, www.davilathewhite.com, and send me a message, which should say, "Hello, my name is blank. I am not a spam bot." Include your email and contact info in that message. At the end of the week next week, which should be next Friday, I will have a draw and announce the winner, and then I will send you a code for your free download. If you like my videos and you want to see more, please like, subscribe. Feel free to comment on my videos. Reach out to me on www.davilahthewhite.com or on my Medium blog. I publish articles quite regularly. In love, light, and laughter, be well.
Soft hands, my trap, you taste like home to me.